Hello everyone, Burb here. Apologies that this video is slightly late, but I thought that the CB video was quite important to get out. But today I'd like to talk about Ines Fujin. I'm going to go over the banner real quick and then I will get right into the characters. So Ines Fujin has not really been suggested to be pulled because there isn't too much meta implications. Now, the problem with the character is that she is one, a track specialist, and two, a frontrunner with a late race ultimate. It's quite hard to recommend a late race ultimate frontrunner to the general player base because of the existence of Bourbon Valentine. Bourbon Valentine essentially just has a free gold skill in the mid race. That is what you're fighting against for first place. If you can't get first place, you can't really exist as a frontrunner. So it's quite difficult to recommend characters like regular Bourbon and Ines Fusion when their ultimates are basically win more. She has a late race ultimate that's very strong, especially on Tokyo tracks. It's above rate on Tokyo tracks and it's slightly below rate everywhere else, but her ultimate is just distance base at the base of it. So if you're an Oshi player that is just looking to play a character in miles, mediums, and longs, her ultimate does work for those three. Sprints, it gets a little bit tough. Okay, so there is value in this character. There's also a lot of comfort in this character because she comes with a lot of skills that are quite hard to get that most times you will be getting from parents. Now the problem is she doesn't have groundwork, but she does have stuff like Slipstream, Playtime's Over, stuff that people have been basically using her card to get on parent runs for a lot of the stuff. So a lot of comfort comes with a gold recovery. All that stuff will make your life a lot easier. Okay, let's get right into the character. So from the top, let's talk about her aptitudes. She has one of the best aptitudes in the game, in my opinion. So the difference between a AAC and a CAA distance aptitude, so having C mile versus C long, is that I don't believe you even really need to bump up the long aptitude when you're running this character normally. The longs that you're doing mostly in the mile medium track is like Arima Keenan, and by the time you get to the Arima Keenan, I feel like your speed is going to be high enough that the 30% penalty isn't even going to be too detrimental. And even then, if you even want to stretch into Tenno Spring, or if you decide to do the Kukukusho route and you know what you're doing and you're getting enough stamina for there, you're going to find that the C aptitude actually lowers the stamina requirement because your speed is lowered. We've been seeing this with Oguri Cap because Oguri Cap, if you keep her aptitude up long at B, you can actually complete the Kukukusho with like 320 stamina. Just ridiculously low stamina. You've seen people lower, but I find it's consistent there. So the long C is actually sort of a buff in a way in terms of builds that have borderline stamina at that point, but again, it's still a 30% debuff. But you generally should be fine for the one or two long races that you're doing. So you could just go and run her mile, medium, long right out of the box using something like a Tiara route. Okay. Other than that, she's just by far a turf track runner, and she's meant to be a front runner. You can stretch her into pace, but it's very difficult when her ult is position locked into second and first. So you are really wanting to be a front runner on this character in the mostly the mile and medium distance, which who can also be stretched into the long distance. Her ultimate works in all three of those distances, and that is where she is meant to be played. Her stat bonuses: 15% speed, 15% guts. The speed is a lot nicer than the guts, and at first it seems like you are screaming guts build considering she's also a guts card. And yes, that works. She's very good in the guts build. You generally will have to run either the power bonus guts cards or you have to go and throw a lot of sparks into power. Generally, speed is the 15% speed is going to carry a lot in this character with this guts build, but you can also just run the speed power wit build, and that's kind of what I suggest for Derby, honestly. But just because it's really hard to do guts build, but the speed bonus is basically going to make it so you can really comfily is a word, okay, comfily go down from 3 to 2 speed cards and go a 2-2-2 build, and then the extra power card is essentially going supplementing your power at that point, okay? So you can run her both builds in Track Blazer. The 15% speed bonus is just very good. Her ultimate all charged, it's go time. It says moderately increase velocity when positioned towards the front with about 300 meters remaining. If coming out of an uphill, greatly increase velocity instead. All the conditions for her, are you ready for this? Yeah, that's a lot, but it's really a very complicated way of saying something simple, and we'll go through it. So, Basically, there is a precondition. When preconditions happen, they have to happen before the condition in order for the condition to occur. Now this one, basically the precondition is happening for the buffed version of the ultimate. The base version of the ultimate does not have a precondition. So the precondition for the buff version of the ultimate is that are you on a slope between 305 and 300 meters, okay? If you are you now off the slope on either a downhill or a flat surface at 299 to 295, okay? If you are, you satisfied the precondition, which will be useful later. This is basically a very complicated way of saying, are you on a Tokyo turf track? Because all of the Tokyo tracks have a 300-meter ending of an uphill into a flat. There may be a few more tracks that I'm missing, but from now on I'm going to refer to it as Tokyo instead of having to say ending of an uphill and try to create something. So this is just on Tokyo at this point. If you're not on Tokyo, or if you are on Tokyo, no matter what you are, at 299 to 295 meters, if you are in, which means it's technically not a snapshot ultimate, but it effectively works it as way, if you are either in second or first position at the 299 to 295 mark, you will proc her ultimate immediately. Okay, so basically it effectively works as a snapshot ultimate. Are you in first place or second place? And if you're a front runner, you generally need to be in first place. Otherwise, you are pretty much always losing. But hypothetically, I guess if there's another front runner, maybe you can use her late race ultimate. It is technically a triumphant pulse on Tokyo. Now, if you satisfy the precondition, 305 to 300 slope on, what you have is, like I said, a triumphant pulse. It is a 5-second 0.45 speed increased ultimate. So it is a triumphant pulse that is able to be procced in first place, which has very good value because frontrunners don't really have many options for late race speed. If it is not on Tokyo, you have a 0.25 5-second ultimate, which is slightly below rate. So what do you have? 2.25 distance units for the Tokyo ultimate, and then the non-Tokyo ultimate's only 1.25. To put this in comparison with a character that has a late race ultimate, regular Bourbon, which you also don't see for the same reasons as that V Bourbon exists, basically, has a 5-second 0.35 ultimate. So you are basically below rate if you are not on Tokyo, and you're above rate if you are on Tokyo. Her inherit, unfortunately, is basically a Tokyo-only parent inherit. So if you have if you're on a Tokyo track, if your child, the horse that you're running is on a Tokyo track, then it will be a 0.25 ultimate. It includes the precondition. So it's not what you run Ines Fujin on, it's what you run the actual horse you're putting the ultimate on in this case. So if the track that you're running with the inherit of Ines Fujin is a Tokyo track, it's a 0.25 3-second ultimate, which is a triumphant pulse. However, if it's not Tokyo, it gets absolutely shredded and it's only a 0.05, which means it's never worth taking. I don't think it's like Haru Urara levels of inherit shredding where they just kill about 80% of the effectiveness. So 0.25 ultimate target speed, very good on Tokyo tracks. If you're not on a Tokyo track, if the CM is not a Tokyo track, it's not worth picking up at all. So that's been her ultimate. Let's talk about her careers and her events. So for her career, it is a sacrificial mile medium career outside of Track Blazer. So you basically have to run the Kakugo, but you do not have to place in it. However, she just runs basically the Triple Crown into the Japan Cup Autumn Crown, right? Does not require the Arima Keenan on that because it is long as well. So her secret event is a win streak. So you have a G1 win streak. You are attempting to get 7 for max bonuses. Basically, if you get 7 or more, you get the max rewards. If you get 4 or more, you get the middle rewards. And if you get at least 1 G1 win, which I believe you're forced to in the Up Japan Cup, you'll always get 10 speed. But hopefully, most times you'll probably be getting the middle one because they have placed the Kakugo directly in the middle of your career. Now, it's not like vodka where you just automatically lose the Arima Keenan unless you actually bump up your long aptitude a bit. You do have aptitude C in long, so you're going to find you probably get between second and third place a lot of times in the Kakugo, and if you have very high speed with some stamina, you might actually survive the Kakugo. However, most times you probably will be just getting front runner straightaways in the middle reward. Early lead is the bonus hints for getting a 7+ G1 race. The ways you can go and mitigate around this, unfortunately, in the next scenario, racing extra races is not really the greatest thing to do, but hypothetically, after the Kakuka show, you could go and add 3 more G1 races into your schedule, and you would hit that 7 G1 race win streak. Her base events. She is a Hot Topic character to start. Luckily, she gets all stats versus power, which is nice, but Hot Topic is not the greatest thing to go and search for. Her nicest character event is It's Not enough to be nice, which is basically playtime's over for free, which is very, very good because playtime's over is one of the harder skills to grab still because you have to kill an event chain on one of your cards. Now, she has another event, One Too Many Toughness Bars. I believe this one in particular is going to be disabled in Trackblazer because Tickets one is as well, but it's basically an additional cafeteria event where you get either plus 30 energy or you can choose instead to grab Dodging Danger as a hint as well. So you get Playtime's Over, which is again a very good mid-race speed skill, and then Dodging Danger is 1/2 of your navigation combo for frontrunners with Dodging Danger and Prudent Positioning. Make sure to only grab Dodging Danger if you have either Ignite Spirit Wit or Prudent Positioning. This also means that if Playtime's Over procs, you immediately have a loopable parent. Now, her regular skills, let's talk about them. So we talked about her event skills. Her regular skills are Slipstream, Tokyo Racecourse, and Speed Eater. Slipstream is basically the opposite of Playtime's Over. They are both incredible skills, even on front runners. Even though it says you're following directly behind another runner, that is basically how you will fight for the mid race if you do not come out of the gate immediately well and hold the first place forever. So if Slipstream is not proccing, you are doing what's called being in first place, which is good. So Slipstream is very good in initiating a pass. You usually combo this with stuff like It's On and Playtime's Over anyways, and she comes with 2 of those 3. Now, Tokyo Racecourse is good on Tokyo Track. She is a Tokyo horse, and Speed Eater is basically a double white for miles. So Speed Eater gives a 3-second boost to speed of 0.15, and you also debuff the 5 horses behind you, not including your own teammates. So you basically get 0.15 forward, and then everyone else loses a white skill. So it's sort of a double white skill for the price of 1 white skill, which is absolutely ridiculous value if you're in the front. Her gold skills. She comes with Restless, which is one of the best recoveries in the game because all it requires is a uphill at a reasonable time, and you will know on each track whether or not Restless works. And most tracks, Restless does work as a gold recovery. Remember in Pisces Cup where we were just like, well, our options are cooldown and straightaway recovery, and then Swinging Maestro, and everything besides Swinging Maestro was a gamble. So like straightaway recovery could only go 1 out of every 3 times and be useful. Same with cooldown, and the 2 that were really good were After School Stroll and Restless. And Restless was very good because it just procs on the first uphill. So you have a reliable gold recovery in kit, and you can go double gold recovery, but you don't necessarily got to go Swinging Maestro every time. Her new skill that she's adding to the game is Wild Wind, and people haven't really been talking about Wild Wind because at first it looks like a Speed Eater skill. It basically gives you target speed, and then it decreases current speed on everyone behind you. Now, the current speed behind you is 0.15, just like Speed Eater. The target speed is increased as 0.35, which is a gold skill. The problem is it's only 1.8 second duration, so it functions closer to the duration of an It's On than it does a duration of like a Professor of Curvature, whereas Speed Eater is 3 seconds. So essentially, you have a half gold speed skill and a half debuff skill attached to it. So it's very good, and you will probably pick it up on this character because this character needs a bunch of mid-race, but it's not the potent thing that Speed Eater actually is. So it's a very good skill that you will probably pick up every time, but that's the reason why you're not seeing it just destroy the meta as Speed Eater did on Aquarius Cup. Okay, so her CM viability. It's also medium only, I just noticed. CM viability. If it's Tokyo track, she is above rate, and if it's not, her ultimate is still good, is sort of the gist of it. So let's talk about CM13. CM13 is a Tokyo track, so at 300 meters there is the uphill release, and then your ultimate will proc. It's perfectly fine. On the Gemini Cup, it's also a Tokyo track at 1600 meters. You have a uphill release at 300 meters, and then your ultimate will proc and close out the race. It's also far enough away from the spurt that you will be at near max speed, if not max speed, when you are hitting your angling and scheming, essentially, into your, angling and scheming. Cancer Cup, we leave Tokyo, and it's still an ultimate that procs at a good time. It's just you do not have the 0.45, you only have the 0.25, okay? So you lose the added bonus of basically being tri-pulse, and you instead just have a standard late race ultimate. And it does proc, of course, far enough away from the spurt. When it comes to sprints, CM16, this is where you're going to have some trouble. Now, luckily enough, it's very, very short end sprint, so fronts are just good in general, but 300 meters is a little bit too close to the sprint line that you're going to have at least part of your ultimate get eaten. So sprint tracks are a little bit tough. She also has sprint G, so it's going to be tough to run her in Leo. We don't actually come back to Tokyo until CM25, unless I have missed one. We come back to Tokyo for a dirt track, which doesn't count because the uphill happens at 250 instead of 300 because we were on the inner track. So if I messed up on that, there may be a CM in between, but as far as I know, CM25 is the next Tokyo track where we redo the Tokyo 1600 meter turf track. So this is the problem with the character, is that, hey, we have two CMs where she's like above rate, and then she becomes a standard horse, and then she's standard horse until CM25 until she's good again. So when it's a Tokyo track, she just has a very good late race ultimate. So that's basically her CM viability. Her affinity. She has very good affinity with Mahono Bourbon, as Mahono Bourbon has very good affinity with a lot of people, but it's like 32, which means it's quite easy to cycle between these two characters, and a lot of people will, because you'll probably be on this Tokyo track, be putting some sort of Ines Fujin ult in a grandparent slot for your front runners anyways, along with Bark Roll. You also have some affinity with Smart Falcon, who of course recruited her for the Umadole, and then Grass Wonder, Sakura Chiano, and Measure Orion. I believe a lot of these raced in the same time period. That's why their affinities are so high. So you have a couple 25s, and of course Mahono Bourbon at 32. In conclusion, this character is a comfy character. You have a gold recovery, you have playtime's over, you have slipstream, a lot of the side skills that you are looking for, dodging danger included as well. A lot of the side skills you're looking for as a front runner, she doesn't give you the main skills like groundwork, escape artist, a lot of mid-race. If you're able to go and build up her mid-race plus the groundwork combo on this character, she is certainly viable, because the late race ult will basically make it easier for you to fend off the other roles besides front runner. You have to go and build mid-race on this character. You have to start gambling on the gold mid-race speed skills to go and basically combine with the mid-race speed that she has as well. That is the way I think you have to play this character. You're basically playing how the rest of us play, with just go and put as much mid-race as possible. It's been a pretty simple character. It's been a nice change of pace. I hope if you are pulling for this character that you get her rather quickly. So, with that out of the way, take care everyone. Burb out.